Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Dina and today is Saturday. It is the 16th of May. So I have reports to give you today for Friday and Saturday because I didn't film yesterday. Yesterday was a day to work on whips. It was also the day that new prompts came out in Cheryl McKinney's group, and so one of the prompts was to stitch on a whip that you either loved in the beginning and then kind of fell out of love with, it was a little bit harder to stitch on, or vice versa, that you weren't quite that in love with when you started it and you grew to like the project much more as you went along. And I chose to do the second because that one applies to me. I am working on a piece called Friends. It is a gift for a friend. And I have been working on it. I've gotten it down to the halfway point here, and now I'm working on my first one of 6 sections that I will need to do in the next 7 months, this being one of them, in order to complete this by the end of the year. So I did get a chance to put in some stitches in here, about 222 of them. I needed 200 for my prompt, so I had enough to meet the prompt. And I also felt like that qualified as working on my whip for the day. And so I was able to get that done. Not a lot of stitching time yesterday. Had a lot going on here with my family, and it was a big day, very busy day. In fact, I think I promised to tell you about it, but I had my phone call with my sister Stephanie from 8 till almost 10, which is wonderful. We try to do that every week. But then my son was home unexpectedly from work, and so he came up and wanted to talk to me about his return to work. He was finishing out the last of his sheltering in place and isolating because they had tested him for COVID-19 and he was negative. But even with a negative test, they made him isolate for a few days, and that was finishing up Friday. So we went to lunch together. And then I had to go to the food pantry and let a volunteer in to put out groceries for the people who had appointments to come and get food, and go by the bank. And then we had a showing on our house yesterday at 3:15, so we had to be out of here by 3 o'clock, and then back about 4, and had to have supper ready and eaten in time to have a game night with our friends on Zoom. So in the course of that time, in the little bit of minutes that I had, I was able to stitch my 222 stitches on this. So that's why it was only 222 stitches. So I'm not going to feel guilty about that. I'm just grateful that I got to do it. So that was wonderful. Now today was a new start, and I'm going to have to ask my sister Stephanie to look away because this one's going to be a gift for her down the road. And so this is what I started on, and I think it's delightful. And I'm going to do mine in a totally different color. I'm not doing it in that color way at all. In fact, I went in a whole different direction. My fabric is called Mountain Mist, and this is what it looks like. And I'm stitching it in silk, variegated silk. And this silk is a Karen Water Lilies, and it is called South Pacific. And that will be a contrasting color there. It's just a DMC that I have, but this is the beautiful silk that I'm using. And so I did get a little bit of a start on this one. I got 325 stitches in it. So that was a little bit of a better progress than I was able to do yesterday. But it was still a busy day today. So not as much as I would have liked to have gotten. All right, sister, you can look back now. Today was also an interesting day. We went house hunting today, and so we went to what was very promising on the posting about the home. In fact, there was one room on there that looked like it would make a perfect craft room, and I was absolutely salivating to see it. I couldn't wait to see it. but it was a case of where the photos were greatly enhanced by the photographer or whoever put that posting together, because the house was nowhere near as nice as it looked on the listing. So that was very disappointing. And we probably felt a little bit like we wasted our time and our agent's time being there. So, you know, you have those every now and again. You can't win them all. But we have another showing of our home coming up next week, so we'll see how that goes, and we'll just see how this process rolls along. But it is Saturday night. I'm going to go spend some time with my family and play with Coco a little bit more and relax and be ready for my day tomorrow. So I'm going to let you get back to what you're doing, and I thank you for letting me share my progress with you. Happy stitching, everyone. Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Dina, and this is Sunday. It is the 17th of May, and my assignment today was a whip. So I pulled out my Giggles in the Snow, and I put 332 stitches in it today, and I'll share it with you now. I'll move that lamp out of the way because this is a big frame. What I did today is I went down this side of the coat with my 332 stitches and added in one color all the way up and down there. And now I have that same color to go out the arm, but I did get that color finished all the way down that coat. Hey, Coco. So Coco says, yeah, good job. So this is Giggles in the Snow. It's just a small amount that I wanted to put in, enough to reach a prompt. I'm doing the scavenger hunt in Cheryl McKinney's group. And so today I was able to get enough of those stitches in to hit the 20th prompt. And so I went to the marigold level today. So that was exciting. So that was a nice thing to do. Do you want to get up here with me? Do you want everybody to see you? You want to say hey? Huh? You want to come up here? She just wants my attention. So we're going to go get her a little snack and play with her a little bit. But thanks for letting me share my whip update with you today, and I will see you next week. Happy Maynia, everyone. Hey, let's go get you a snack. Hi, I'm back again. Today is still Sunday. It's the 17th of May, as I said earlier. And today I decided I would go ahead and talk to you a little bit about my scroll rods and the frames that I like to use when I'm stitching. I use Q-snaps quite a bit, especially if I'm going to go somewhere and take stitching with me, or if I have a very small project like my Advent Animals, where I'm stitching on a very small piece of my fabric at a time. But even when I use a Q-snap, I still use my floor stand, and so I've been asked to show a little bit about my frames and the choices that I have. And I'm like most of us, things have evolved over the years of my stitching, and I have evolved in my scroll rods as well. The first type that I've ever used, that I still have, are these that you get. They're called split rail rods, and you get them at Hobby Lobby, anywhere. Very affordable, very inexpensive. And what they have is a split. Right here you can see. The wood is actually split in half, and when you get ready to put your fabric on there, you just put the edge into that split, and then you roll it up on there, and the bars, you cinch them down tight. It holds everything in. This is loose because I've got it stored, but there is nothing inside that split rail that holds your fabric tight, and so the tension is not the best, and you do have to readjust it frequently. I do find that if I use side tension, if I put my little clips and my Velcro on here, it helps to keep the side a little bit tighter. But this is one of my oldest rod systems that I have, and I haven't gotten rid of it because it's still functional. It's just not my favorite scroll rods. The second one I got was my attempt at getting a better system. And this is my American Dreams scroll rods. And if you'll look at these, I'll show you the back here because the front rather, you can see it. There's a fuzzy white fabric here. And the reason that's a fuzzy white fabric on each of the rods, you can see there's some there too. See it here? It's not there, but it is there. Is because you actually, with American Dream rods, you sew or glue Velcro onto your fabric that you're going to stitch on, and you Velcro it to the rod. So that's what holds it there. It's tight, it's beautifully tight, and you've got great tension. But this American Dreams goes onto a tabletop stand that I have, and I have used it on the tabletop, but I've also used it just on my floor stand. But this is such a wider bar than normal that I find it's better on the stand it was made for. And that's why it has a bar up here. It connects right there and hangs out like that. This is where it connects onto the tabletop stand, and this hangs out for you to get your hands under. At one point in time, the American Dreams system was going to be not be made anymore, and then one of the online stores purchased it, the rights to it, and they're still selling them, and they're still selling the Velcro that you buy to go on it. I still have enough Velcro to use for a little while. I haven't gotten rid of the stand simply because I can still use it. But I am slowly trying to replace all of my scroll rods with my latest and favorite kind. My favorite kind are called Rolaframes. And they are Rolaframe. Rolaframe is the name of it. These are handmade as you order them. So sometimes there can be a little bit of a delay in getting them because it's a gentleman who makes them out of, I think, his household basement or something. It's a small one-man operation. But the idea he came up with is brilliant. Inside each of these rods, they are split in half. There are two separate rods. Inside these rods, one has little tiny nail tacks protruding, and the other has the holes that match them. You notice this is color coded. They're both black on the tip, and they're not on that side. Actually, what's written on there is 28 because this is a 28-inch rod. I ordered these for my big projects. But you'll notice these are also color coded. They're either colored or they're not. These are my 10-inch bars. These are two black. These are two red. That tells you they go together. So you get your color-coded tips, red and black, and that way you know that the little nails are going to line up perfectly. So what you do is you lay your rod down, the half that has your nails in it, and you take your fabric and place it where you want it, and then you just poke it down over those little nails. Press it carefully because they're very sharp. But you can stretch it nice and you know, just perfectly tight, and you can put that on there. You can do that and then put the other side on that has the holes that match up, and then you've got your fabric caught in those little teeth, and the tension's beautiful. It doesn't lose its tautness. Once you set it up to stitch, it stays that tight till you loosen it usually. It doesn't let go. It doesn't slide out. Sometimes the split rail slides out on me. It'll start getting crooked, you know. Anyway, I've loosened this one because I just finished working on it today and I'm ready to put it back up in storage. So these are the ones that I'm getting, trying to replace all of my scroll rods with Rolaframes. I have a little tiny one I'll show you that is a split rail. It's not a Rolaframe, but you can get these different sizes. You know, here's a little small split rail one that I got at like a Hobby Lobby or something. And, you know, so I've set it up for a smaller, much more narrow piece of fabric, and that works out just fine. I prefer them. I prefer scroll rods. I didn't always. I've gotten really spoiled now that I use my floor stand. So I have a Lowry imitation. And so this is the head of it. If you'll pardon me, I'll scoot you down just a little. There you go. You can see the head now. And so this is where my scroll rod system, the end bar fits right in here. And then I can tighten this up just to hold it wherever I might be. This will go up or down in height, so I can have it fit over an arm of a chair, like a couch, or I can just have it here in my room. I have to see which way I'm going here. In my stitching room where it fits right over here next to my table. And I clamp this down, and then here is my work. So I'm ready to go. I'll put this over where I want it to be, and then I stitch two-handed. So what I do is I get the angle where I like it, where it's comfortable for me. I put my dominant hand underneath, and then I just stitch. I push down with this hand and push up with the one underneath. And that way I can get a quicker stitching, sort of like a sewing method, similar to what Vanna does. I try to do what Vanna does as far as not twisting or turning my needle, but to me that takes a little practice. She's developed it to a fine art, and I'm still trying to learn it, but I do feel like the Rolaframes are worth the investment. They are not inexpensive. They're not as much as Almanac or any of those big wooden sets that you see. They are lightweight. This is a 28-inch set, and I can just, you know, hold it with one finger. It's very lightweight. It's not heavy at all. And the gentleman who makes them puts a little metal plate on one end of the your insets. On one of them there'll be a little metal plate there for you to put your needle, so that you don't have to have a needle minder if you don't want to on your fabric. But I always forget to look for that, and I'll put mine in upside down and mine will be on the bottom. But because I use my needle minders usually on my metal board up here where my pattern is. But I hope that helps you. I hope that gives you an idea. One of the questions I had about using a floor stand is, how do I stitch for long periods of time using a floor stand? And I find that I can situate my stand to where I can sit with my back up and my arms, you know, just at a normal positioning where I'm not holding them up. And then I can stitch for, you know, an hour or so. Then I can stitch for about an hour or so. My dog Coco doesn't let me stitch very long at any one time anymore, so that helps me to get up and stretch my legs. I go play with her, throw a toy for her, we play tug of war or whatever for until she gets short of breath, you know, maybe 20 minutes or so, and then she's ready for a little break, and she'll come lay next to me in the floor and let me settle back and do what I want to do until she comes and brings me her toy again, and you know, it's like saying I'm ready. But I hope that gives you some information. I highly recommend the Rolaframes. I do know you can get them at various needlework shops. My best experience in ordering them has been through an individual that I know that has a small online store, and she's been able to order them for me as well. But if you don't have someone you know that stocks them, I know that Fancy Works, which is the LNS that Vonna utilizes there in Bloomington, Indiana, I know they carry them. And so they have some in stock, which might be great because you could get them a lot quicker. I always try there if I can't find them until I always did until I have a friend now who purchases them, and I'm benefiting from that relationship. But I would recommend that you can order through over the telephone. You can call Fancy Works and just tell them what you're looking for, what size you want. But remember, you need the end bars and you need your rods. You need your set of rods, and they come in all different sizes. So if I were you, I'd look at what are the average sizes of your projects that you do. Most of mine will fit on a smaller frame than this 28. You know, I don't need a 28 for everything I do. So I have a smaller, set, 2 or 3 actually, smaller sets of the Rolaframe. But every time I get a good surplus of money in my Stitch from Stash, if I'm not having to kit up for Maynia, I order a Rolaframe. I'm trying to beef up my stash of Rolaframes. But I hope that helps you. I hope that answers your questions. If not, leave me another question or a follow-up question. I'll be happy to share it with you. And if you have a favorite frame, feel free to put it in the comments so the ladies who were asking me about them can read them and see what you recommend. Happy stitching, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today is Monday. It is the 18th of May, my 18th day of Maynia, and I had a new start today. This one is for my sewing room, and I'm so tickled with it. It's called Soul Sisters, and it's by Plum Street Samplers, and it's these 2 women. One has a pair of scissors in her hand, one has a needle and thread in her hand. So these sisters are definitely soul sisters because of their love of needlework. And I think that would fit well in my sewing room. The saying says, "In friendship, let's join thine interest with mine." So I think that's a great piece. And I didn't know until I was preparing it today. I actually had to serge the fabric, or I zigzagged mine because I don't have a serger, but I had to prepare my fabric this morning because I hadn't had a chance to do that yet. And I was looking over the pattern to read about any special, comments or instructions. And I found out that their faces, the 2 ladies' faces, are 1/1. There was another little pattern on the back. And I started reading, what's that for? Small or a fob? Or no, it's for this. It's 1/1. I'm glad they're small. But anyway, it's okay. So I wanted to share with you what I did today. Today, not only was I working on the 18th of Maynia, but I was also working on a SAL, and it was to work on a border SAL. And so as it turned out, I started this at the border, the very tip top. And so I did not only this little border, but this is the top border, and I finished it. It was 585 stitches worth, but I got it done today, and I'm so excited. I can't tell you how excited I am because I love it, and it's just going great guns. So very, very pleased with that progress. So I went ahead and looked ahead so I could share it with you. And my day tomorrow on the 19th is slotted to be a whip. I had penciled in my Haid for tomorrow. Well, we'll see, because I have the good fortune of being able to do a virtual stitching tomorrow, even if it's just for a little while, with a new friend that I have just begun to meet over FlossTube. She has her own channel, and we've been talking back and forth, and now we're going to be stitching the same pattern. And so Laura and I are going to virtually stitch tomorrow on gathering eggs. So I will pull that back out and I'll work on it with her. Then the rest of the day I may dedicate to a different whip, an existing whip before Mania, and I'll either pull out my Hade and get started on it, or I will do Crystal Christmas tomorrow. One of those two. I'll let you know when I figure it out tomorrow when I see how my stitching goes. My husband's going to do a short run tomorrow, so he'll be home a lot more, and my son's home tomorrow. That's his day off this week. So between the two of them, maybe they can help me with Cocoa playtime, and I might get some stitching in. So looking forward to that. We'll see. I hope your week's gotten off to a great start. I know mine has. I haven't lost any enthusiasm for Maynia. This is just fabulous. I'm having a great time. So I will talk to you tomorrow and show you what I was able to pull out and work on. Happy stitching until then. Good night, everyone. Hi, everyone. Today is Tuesday. It is the 19th of May. And today was a whip day on my Maynia schedule. So my whip today was my Hade. This is a mini. It's a real snow job. And the artwork is by Jane Wooster Scott. And I started in the upper top left corner. And I finished another diagonal today. I'm so excited. I'm going to pull the light over here so you can see it a little bit better. It was glaring off of the pattern. But this is where I'm at. A whole nother diagonal finished. Notice the tree top showing up here. Last time when I stitched on this, I thought this symbol was a different symbol, and it had orange in it, which is not unusual because the whole piece has kind of a yellowy orange all throughout it, and I thought maybe that was part of the shadowing in the house. But I got to looking at it closer today when I got ready to start, and I was using all of my parked threads and realized that isn't what that symbol was. I double checked it. I had to frog. I didn't have this diagonal, so it was right up in here. But I had to frog 2 colors out of an entire couple of squares down here. Not the whole squares, just bits and pieces from them. It was a pain in the neck. It's 1/1 on 25 count, and that was not a pleasant experience. But you know what? I was determined to get it done, and I was determined to move forward because I didn't want to put it away, having such a negative happening right there at the end. So I am thrilled. I didn't expect to get to do another diagonal in one day. I thought it would take me a couple of days, but I was able to get it in today, over 550 stitches, but that's a good day. This is very confetti heavy here in this section, and then there were little tiny pieces of confetti all through this diagonal, like this one little tiny white stitch there. I found myself cutting off a small tiny piece of DMC and making that one stitch just to get it in there without stretching my thread anywhere. But I am thrilled. I'm thrilled to have that diagonal done. And as you can see, there's a little bit of feathering going on as I have a color and there's only one more stitch. You know, I go ahead and do that rather than have to chase it down next time. But I'm very pleased, and I think my next diagonal will be the biggest one of the page, and so that may be one I have to break up a bit. But I am really pleased with my progress today. The other fun thing that happened today is I got to stitch virtually with a friend, and we are working on a piece together in Maynia, and that piece is gathering eggs. And I just did a tiny bit more of the border on that today. So it's not enough to show, but we enjoyed talking. I think she said she got 10 stitches in. I got a little more than that, but not many. Anyway, it was a great day. I hope you had a good day today. It's been a wonderful Maynia so far. I'm really enjoying it. And I'll talk to you soon. Hello everyone, welcome. Today is Wednesday. It is May 20th in our Maynia journey, and today I wanted to share with you my new start for the day. But I gotta decide which one to share. Actually, I started two things today, but not on purpose, not pre-planned. My plan was to start my freezing season, which will be a Christmas present for my mom, Stephanie's mother, hopefully this year. And it was to be done on one of those little wooden sleds. And when I bought the pattern, I didn't buy the sled at the same place because I bought it at a retreat, and I got the pattern from Katrina. And she didn't have the sleds with her, so I ordered the sleds from Dixie Darlin, where they sell the Foxwood crossings, or I picked them up, I think, when I was there. Anyway, I didn't know there was more than one size. And I got the sled that was only 4 inches or 3 inches or something, or 5 inches, I don't know. Anyway, it's too small. So I didn't notice that right away. I started the perforated paper, I started the freezing season, and I did the snowflakes, and then I started typing in stitching the word freezing, and I thought, this is pretty far down on this perforated paper. I don't think I'm going to have room for this whole pattern. So I checked. I didn't have room. And I didn't want to take the freezing season off and just do the snowman and the 2 penguins, because that would have worked. I checked it. I measured it. I thought about it. And I said, no, that's not good. So I ran online and I found these 7-inch sleds that I needed, and I can get them before the end of May. So I thought, I'm just going to postpone this start. I'm going to flip-flop this day with something else. So I just went to the next day on my list, which would have been tomorrow's new start. And I grabbed that and I pulled it forward to today. So tomorrow I'll rearrange my dates and make sure I've got everything, but I'm going to save that last new start, freezing season, toward the end of May. So you will get to see it, hopefully. So this is what I pulled out to start today. This is a patriotic piece. It is called Brave Flags. It's a shepherd's bush. So you know it has an embellishment pack, right? They still have these buttons. This pattern is a 2003 pattern, but they still had all these buttons. And so I have all the buttons to go with it. I've shared those with you before I started, but I'll give you just a reminder of one of the buttons. This is one of the hearts that I'll be using. So I decided I wanted this to look quite rustic, and I wanted these big buttons that you see here. I wanted them to fit nicely on this pattern. And so I decided to do this on 14 count, and it's an Ada, and the colorway is called Sand Sable Arena. It's a DMC. It's a old Charles Craft, so I probably got it at Hobby Lobby at some point in time before they switched over to the new Artiste or whatever. Anyway, I think it's a beautiful color, and I want to share that with you. And I started right up here at the hat and worked a little bit on Uncle Sam, as I'm calling him. And that's where I got to today. So I love his little mustache, you know, that he's got curled up here on the sides. I don't know if you can see that very well, but I I did change out his color for his hair and beard. They had called for 822, which is about this color. And so I just went and took a bright white so that it would look good on this fabric. And I'm really enjoying it. So haven't counted my stitches yet today, so I can't tell you how many stitches I've done today, but considering this was my second start of the day, I think I did okay. Anyway, I actually thought that I don't need to even tell anybody that because it makes me look kind of silly because I didn't check that ahead of time. But you know what? We are all human. We make mistakes, and I thought I was buying the right sled. I didn't realize there were all these different sizes, and you know, you make mistakes. And so fortunately, I'm going to be able to receive the sled. The sled and the perforated paper come together as a set. So that means that the paper will be the right size and will be pre-cut and everything. And I have some perforated paper in my stash. I could have gone ahead and cut a piece of it and got started on it today. But I thought, you know, it's going to come with the perforated paper. Anyway, it's going to be the right size. So I'd rather just wait since I can still get it in the month of May and still get my start done appropriately. I'd rather wait and start it then. So Coco and I are about to head off to bed. It's kind of late. She's kind of looking around at me like, let's go. So I'm going to say goodnight, and I will come back tomorrow, Lord willing, and I will share with you my start for tomorrow. Happy stitching. Well, hello everyone. Today is Friday. It is the 21st of March, and I'm here to give you an update. And this update will be my last update for this video, and then I'll draw the winners for my 5,000 subscriber celebration and go ahead and announce those and get this on up probably first thing in the morning. But today I had a whip. It was Crystal Christmas. And if you'll recall, when I started on this, I started right at the center at the top, and I started working on the yellow circle. And last time I worked on it, I sort of finished the circle and started on the top of that little mountain, or maybe that's supposed to be a tree. I think it's a tree. So this is where I got to so far. Today, I had a little bit of the tip top done coming down this way, but today I did two colors, two more colors, which took it on down. It's this darker two greens here as it starts flowing down the tree. Now, there's a lot of open space in there, and that is because there's only one color left up there, and the rest of that is going to be either a gallery thread or it's going to be beads. So I made a decision today working on this. I'm enjoying working on it. It's going quite well. But I really need to be able to use my gallery threads as I go. I would love to be able to bead it as I go. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that because I would have to roll it up on a scroll rod, and I certainly wouldn't want to put it in a Q-snap after I beat it. But there's an awful lot of whisper thread and things like that in here, and you have so much of that in the area that it doesn't look like you've gotten, you know, very much done. I did 225 stitches today in just those two colors, but there's so much more I could have done in here if I could have stitched that fancy floss. So I think what I'm going to do is put this one inactive for just a little bit while I do my Seeking Refuge on my very large scroll rods. And then once I finish Seeking Refuge, because I want to stitch it during this time, during this season of our life, And so once I finish Seeking Refuge, then the scroll rods that one is on would be available for this. And then I would bring this back into my rotation and work on it some more. So it's going to go sort of dormant for a little while until Seeking Refuge is finished. So I just wanted to share this last progress report for Maynia for you, where I did get to stitch on it. And then I will certainly put it right back in as soon as I can. But I just think putting in all the scroll rods would be, the way to go. I'm trying to get this Q-snap off just to remind you of this beautiful fabric that I had purchased to do this one in. And I think it's just absolutely perfect for it. So this is my fabric for this piece. And I think it's going to just be beautiful, especially when you look at all the purples and yellows and things that are going to be in this piece. I think it'll look really well. So I'm going to fold it up, roll it up, and put it in my project bag carefully, because I won't be touching it for a few months. And but it will be not forgotten. It's just going to be put on hold until I have access to my scroll rods for this piece. And I don't want to take them on and off, so I'm just going to do one and then go to the next one. And that's how it'll be. So I'm going to turn the camera around here and draw for the winners for the 5 giveaways. And thank all of you for participating that told me what charts you might like to stitch. I want to thank everyone for all the kind comments. So many of you said such lovely things about enjoying my Floss Tube videos, and I really, really thank you for that. It's a privilege to be able to do them and have someone want to see them. So I just wanted to thank you for coming back and watching on a regular basis, and I just appreciate it so very much. So happy Maynia. I have, I think, 1 week left. And I've got all of my, things picked out. I saw a notice today that my sleds have shipped. And so I'm hoping to be getting them in the next few days so that they'll be easily put back into my rotation, because it's not going to affect just one of my new starts. It's going to affect 2 of them. So I'm hoping that I get them in time. So, if not, I'll substitute something else and I'll keep going. But because I know I'll do these 2 that I'm working on with sleds, because they're going to be gifts. And I'll be sure and get those done. Happy Maynia. Good luck in the drawing, and I'll be announcing the winners in just a few seconds for you. I'll talk to you soon, everyone. Stay safe. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the portion of the video where we are going to select the winners of the 5,000 subscriber giveaway. The first pattern that we're going to draw for is this beautiful Mirabilia, Giggles in the Snow. And I will use the random number generator to figure out who that lucky person is. We had 64 people who were interested in that giveaway. So I'm going to put 1 to 64 here and hit generate. Number 57. 57 is Margie Cook. Margie Cook. Margie, congratulations, you've won Giggles in the Snow. And if you will just email me your mailing address, I will get this put in the mail to you as soon as possible. Congratulations. Very excited for you. Okay, the next pattern that we're going to draw for is the J.M. Gardner Sampler. Let's give you a reminder of what the pattern looked like. And on this one, as I mentioned, there were a lot of people interested in samplers. So we had 80 people interested in this pattern. And we'll put in 1 to 80 and hit generate. And it's number 9, Vicky Loyal. Number 9, Vicky Loyal. If you will email me your mailing address, you are the lucky recipient of the J.M. Gardner sampler. And I'll get that in the mail to you. All right, let's do the next one. The Christmas Blessing Angel. Isn't that just beautiful? There were a few people interested in that. This is a bigger pattern. It's a little more difficult than some of the others I had. So we had 44 people who were interested in the Christmas Blessing Angel. So let's put in 1 to 44, hit generate, and we have number 36. This is Rhonda Gibbs. Rhonda, you're the lucky winner of the Blessing Angel. Please email me your mailing address and I can get that put into the mail for you. And I am so grateful for all of you who participated in those 3 so far. This one was a surprise to me. This is the Thomas Kincaid, the Forest Chapel. And I guess I underestimated how many of you love full coverage. And so I was just so tickled to death to have 76 people be interested in stitching the Forest Chapel. We'll hit generate. And that's number 35. So let's find it. This is Main Stitcher. Main Stitcher. You are the lucky recipient of the Thomas Kincaid Forest Chapel pattern. If you will email me your mailing address, I will get that in the mail to you as soon as I can. And here is our last one. This is the Dimensions kit. This is the Gold Collection kit called Oriental Splendor. And again, this one was a popular one, but also it's a full coverage. So not quite as many people wanted it as the Thomas Kincaid, but it was pretty close. There were 69 that asked about it. 69, sorry, I hit the wrong number there. And so we're going to generate that. And it is going to go to Carrie Phillips. Carrie Phillips. Number 8, Carrie Phillips. You are the lucky winner of the Oriental Splendor. So please email me your mailing address so I can get that out to you. I want to thank you all again for participating in my celebration, for your continued support of my channel. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to hear from all of you.
Don't be in the sand. All right, come back this way. Come on, there's more sand right here. Oh my goodness. Are you having fun? We love the sand.